This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
1, 2, 3. Lovely.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Maastricht edition live on Facebook. Tonight we have the lovely João Neves, who will be giving us a live performance on guitar. And we have our usual segments of This Day in History, Matt Goes Dutch, and Tracy's Tidbits. So stay tuned, and we'll see you soon.
Yay! Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Maastricht edition. Here we are again. And yes, we have an awful lot going on this evening. We've got some live music coming up from João. All the way, well, he's from Brazil. It's not from Brazil, as it were. He's from Brazil.
He's from Brazil.
He's in Maastricht, but we've got some Brazilian stuff going on for you this evening. It's April the 1st, so you may not believe everything that's going on this evening because it could be April Fool's. Ooh.
It's until 12, not the rule. You're only allowed to be joking until 12.
So this is the Maastricht edition, for goodness sake. That could definitely go all out the window. Matt, what else is happening on this day?
Today is the 20th anniversary of gay marriage in the Netherlands.
Hurrah!
And it's also, there you go. And in the Netherlands, pink is also the gay colour. And it's Easter this weekend, so I have this bunny, or mouse, or whatever.
We're not sure. We're really not sure. Now, Tracy's waving a bunny around. Why are you waving a bunny around?
Because it's Easter, and this is the Easter bunny.
There you go. Because it's the Easter bunny. It's the Easter bunny.
The one, the original.
The official Easter bunny is here in Maastricht. Oh, goodness me.
We were going to interview him, but he's very shy. But he's just agreed to appear and wave a bit. He's not into speaking.
So we're covering the Easter this evening. We're covering gay marriage. I'm going to be talking about Eurovision. We've got some Eurovision updates for you as well this evening.
Yeah.
Tracy is beside herself. And yes, we have all our usual segments as well. So there's lots going on this evening. Lots and lots. And, of course, this is the first programme of the year where the clocks have changed. We've got sunlight, probably for the whole show.
Hallelujah.
Hopefully.
Hallelujah.
And the fundamental thing means that I don't feed the goats until after the show.
Oh.
It's quite important, yes.
How times have changed, but it's so nice. Despite losing the hour of sleep on Sunday last, the lightness in the evening is so nice. It's bright until like 8 o'clock in the evening.
Oh,
it's
and some.
Ooh.
It's lovely.
Like
Eddie's in the house with us this evening. Remember Eddie? He's our photo competition winner. Lovely to have you with us. Good evening, Eddie.
Indeed. Loving your stuff on Instagram. And Edney posted a little story post a few days ago, drinking from his Maastricht edition mug, which is
anybody who's
sending the love.
has one of those. And just to remind people, if you do want to have your own Maastricht edition mug or T-shirt for that matter, you just go along to our Redbubble shop. You can find all the details on our website, Instagram page and Facebook page. It's all there.
Lovely.
Yes. So how are you two this week?
Good. The most exciting thing that happened this week was I had 2 ant infestations.
I had
two. So I let out all my frustration on the poor little ants, I'm sorry to say. But it was the only way to get them out of the kitchen. It was very, very frustrating. They managed to burrow their way through the window frame, a little hole next. We patched it up with that putty stuff, the stuff you use for grouting. And they got back through it. They burrowed back through and oh God. So yeah, that's been a bit of a nightmare. And I came, after we got rid of those ones, I came around the corner in the evening by our back door when I was hoovering to get rid of all the food in case more ants came. And there was literally hundreds of ants coming in through the back door and all over the floor. I'm like, ah! So yeah, that's been my excitement for this week.
Oh my goodness.
Well, where do we stand on the ant status at this moment, Matthew? Are they all gone?
This morning. So I've been trying various home remedies, which is vinegar with water. You spray everything, and apparently they hate vinegar. That didn't work. So now I'm on mint. Apparently they hate the smell of mint. So I'm rubbing mint everywhere. So we'll see.
Gosh, well, keep us posted. Update next week, Matthew, please.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm
well,
not
maybe
here,
we should ask our listeners, how do you get rid of ants? I mean, we are coming into that time of year now where, for some of us who are living, well, you know what, I was going to say living on the ground floor, but you know what, sometimes ants do go up walls, don't they? And they go to apartments as well. So, yeah, what do you do? How do you get rid of those ants? Because they don't come in pairs. Oh, my goodness. There's a lot of them.
Yeah. They come in a pack. They do. That's true. But you're right. Yeah. Oh, sorry. We go into that season now where you will see more and more of them, and they can make it to your kitchen or living room or back door.
As soon as it got warm, that one day, was it Monday or Tuesday? They just suddenly started appearing everywhere.
It's not good. So yes, tell us. How do you get rid of ants, people? Those of you out there who have maybe got some tips and tricks up their sleeves on how to get rid of infestation of ants, do tell. We would like to spread the word. So I know I have done it in the past with boiling hot water, which is
but I can't do it like in the house because I don't know exactly where they're coming from. So. But apparently you can get this like sand stuff that's made of like ground fossilized animals that's razor sharp to ants. So if they walk on it, they get cut and then they dry out and die. Which I'm like, okay, great, get some of the ants. That sounds horrible.
I'm sorry, I'm going to readdress this. We would like to know if people have humane ways of moving the ants on somewhere else. This sounds horrible.
Yeah, all the solutions online are about killing them, not like
just kind of pushing them on.
That doesn't work, Tracy. I'm sorry, that doesn't work. When there's a million of them, the only thing I'm thinking though is this idea you're saying, Matt, where they're walking on them. When there's that many ants, there will be a chorus of "ow, oh, ah." You're probably like, what's that? I can hear something. What is it? And it's all these ants going, ow, oh my foot, oh.
Maybe. Yeah, there's the other one that's like put cinnamon down and they'll inhale it and suffocate because it's really small, and like they really hate chili powder because they inhale it. I'm like, it's a horrible solution, but
it's a tough one.
Apparently ants don't like cloves, I'm being told.
Cloves.
Yeah, I also read that online. Try that one next if it doesn't work.
That's João actually, who's going to be on the show.
Our guest.
He says, there you go. So they don't like cloves.
I'm sorry. How lovely that our guest is actually watching the show. That's really nice.
He wants to see what he's setting himself in for.
I know. Let's hope it doesn't turn him off and come 7:35. There's no guest. João, stick with us, please. We're a lot of fun. But that would be nice.
We're going to be coming up later on then with some news about Eurovision that has hit the headlines today, actually. So this is hot off the press. We're going to be talking about that later. Yes, João's going to be here. He's going to be playing a little guitar for us, some sexy little Brazilian sounds, and also talking about teaching guitar lessons here in Maastricht. So if you fancy yourself as a rock god, then João's your man for sure. You fancy that, do you, Tracy?
Can't you see me as a rock god, guitarist person? No.
Do you know what? Piano. I can so see you in full-on leather, shaking your hair about all over the place. But maybe you're more of a groupie, Tracy.
Well, I have to tell you, I have been known to spend some time in the mosh pit, and I have had some fake leather in the past, which I've worn. So you never know.
Oh, and speaking of rock gods, I'm just putting it out there. There was a Dave Grohl interview on television this last week, and I had a bit of a moment.
Yeah.
Me and Dave Grohl for half an hour on TV. I was like, oh.
Yes. Now, were you alone, Joe? Did you happen to yourself?
Alone. I was very alone. I made sure I was alone, just me and Dave Grohl on the TV, and I was like, oh. And actually, before we move on to Matt's review, I just wanted to say, Pink Pop is officially cancelled now. Pink Pop has been officially cancelled. A load of the others, including Boz Pop, is also officially cancelled. These are all being moved to next year. They did try to maybe postpone it to later on in the year, but it's just not happening. So, yeah, unfortunately, these festivals, one by one, they're all being cancelled. There will be some information on their websites about what to do about the tickets, whether you can keep them, transfer them, and so on. So just get onto the relative websites and have a look. But yes, Pink Pop has cancelled this year. Oh, again for the second year.
Oh no, it's really a pity. Yeah. And I think Boss Pop, it was their 40th anniversary as well or something. So it's really, yeah. Oh, for goodness sake. Well, that's 2021 kind of crossed off the list in terms of concerts, pretty much, it seems.
This time last year as well, actually. But anyway, let's look forward to 2022, and let's look forward now to Matt's review. So, of course, it is that time of the evening. Oh, there you go. It's that time of the evening where we find out what Matt has to say about the album of the week that has been put to him. It was my turn to choose an album. Yes. Last week. We have had so many different genres of music for Matt to listen to, and this is actually the second soundtrack that I have picked for him. This is a musical that has a real cult following. The people that love this musical are obsessed with it, I can tell you. Including myself. We get dressed up, we have parties, there's all sorts of iconic characters in it. I'm talking about the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I gave Matt the opportunity to listen to this in the week, do a bit of time warping. Matt, what did you think of the album?
I thought it was good, but do you remember I said I thought I'd seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turns out I hadn't. I'd seen Cabaret. So I was like,
I can understand why you were confused, because there's lots of people in stockings and suspenders in Cabaret.
There you go. So I haven't seen it.
Minelli would be very happy with this comparison, but anyway, carry on.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I thought it was good, but I did feel maybe that I missed the context a bit. I feel that sometimes I wasn't quite sure. Well, that I would appreciate it more if I saw like what was going on at the same time.
Can I let you into a secret?
Sure.
Many people who have actually watched the film or watched the musical on stage have also said, I have no idea what's going on here.
It's confusing either way.
It could be confusing either way, but we're talking about the music here. So you, as a standalone album though, never mind the actual concept, you thought the music was good?
Yeah, I thought it was quite fun, especially the
title?
That one. That
yes.
one was fun. Yeah, I recognise that one, but I don't think I recognise any of the other songs. I don't think.
No, they haven't actually been released as a standalone single, as it were, but you know, as I said, those of us who follow it and obsessed with it, yeah, we know all the songs very, very well, and they're all sung by all these crazy characters throughout the musical, but including Meatloaf.
Yes.
Okay.
Who plays Eddie?
Meatloaf.
Okay, so where were you when you were listening to it? Were you cooking?
Yes.
Were you killing ants?
No, that was pre-ant killing.
Okay, so you're in the kitchen. Did you find yourself having a little bit of a jig?
Sure, yeah, that's why.
Okay, there was some wiggling. Did you feel the need to put on any stockings as suspenders?
No.
Okay. So, do you think you'd like to go and see the film?
Yeah, I think I'd like to see it. It's like one of those classic things I feel I should see to fully experience the craziness.
Yes. Okay. So I think at some point when we are all able to be together, we should try and get one of the local cinemas here to put on the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yes, please. I've never seen the movie either. We can all go together.
Yeah.
Oh,
Joe, can I dress up? Are there
we have
characters?
to. It's compulsory.
Ooh,
Oh.
exciting. I'm not sure who I'd be. Oh, the merriment. I'm looking forward.
Look, all three of us will be in basques, stockings and suspenders, feather boas, 10 centimeters of makeup, hair, wigs even. I mean, it's just all completely over the top.
Okay.
Fabulous.
Excellent. Okay, well, everybody signed up for that. And anybody else out there who fancies doing this, okay, we're going to have a Rocky Horror Picture Night. This is great.
We should totally start a petition, and then we can go to our friends at the Lumiere and ask if they might be willing to host it. I'm sure Wout would be delighted.
Absolutely, yes. I think. Well, let's get him back on the show. Let's get him back on the show, and then we'll have to nail him down while he's being interviewed. Excellent idea. Okay, so how many Mats out of 10 did you give it?
I decided to give it a 7.
Okay, I was hoping for an 8, if I'm honest, but okay, 7 it
Maybe
is.
if I'd seen it, I don't know. Maybe I'd change my score.
Yes, possibly. Okay, 7 is good. 7 is fine. 7 is better than a 6. So that's
True.
good. That's good. Okay. Okay then, so that was Matt's review for the Rocky Horror Picture Show this week, and that was my choice. We're now going to go for Tracy's choice that Matt's going to be reviewing for next week. Tracy, what have you got for Matt?
Well, I have decided we're an international group. We're an international broadcast show. I thought it was high time that our Matthew listened to an album in a foreign language. Ooh, I know. So I have chosen an album from Bella Italia. I was Joe's face. I was waiting for the sound to come with the face. I'm going back not so long ago. I'm going back to 1997, and I'm choosing for you, Matthew. Oh my God, Joe! What is it?
I know. I think I know. I think I know.
Well, this chap, he's kind of like he's like a big god in Italy. I mean, everyone loves him, and he's also rather dishy, Matthew. You like me? Yes. You like this chap? I have chosen for you the album Eros from
Okay.
Do you know him?
I think I've heard the name, but no, I don't think I know any songs.
He's dishy.
He's very dishy. There are a few songs on here you'll probably notice because they've got a lot of radio play, like Terra Promessa and Se Bastasse Una Canzone. He's also done quite a famous duet with Andrea Bocelli called Music A, and also a duet with Tina Turner.
Okay.
So there's only 16 songs on this album, Matthew. So it's not a very long album per se. It's all in Italian, of course, but even if you have a few smattering words of Italian, it doesn't really matter. The music, the feeling, the vibe, I think I hope you will like it.
There's a really famous thing. It's got a very good key change in it.
That it could be many of them. Terra Promessa is quite famous, but I really like Se Bastasse Una Canzone. Da 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 da.
Yes.
Da
Yes.
da da da. This album, Matthew, you must listen to it while you're drinking wine, preferably something.
Okay.
I suggest you sit down somewhere in a comfy chair, open the windows, look at the sunshine, and just listen to the music with a glass of vino, and let the romance of Eros Ramazzotti embrace you.
Okay.
There you go. God, that was a sales pitch, I tell you.
I'm
Oh my
cold.
goodness.
I know. There you go. So that's my choice for you for next week, Matthew.
Interesting one, actually.
Hmm.
Foreign language. Didn't think about that.
Oh, can worms open? Who knows what's coming next?
He's got a great voice, actually, and at the time in the late 90s, he was massive. He was absolutely massive all over Europe.
Yeah, absolutely. And I understand, I think he is still making music today, but he did have a lot of strong sales around Europe, and one or two in America, possibly. And of course, in Italy, he's like, his songs features in movies and things and everything. So, I'm curious, Matthew. So let's see what you think of that.
And
Okay.
actually, while we're on the subject, let's ask our listeners out there if you've got any foreign language albums that you think Matt could review, or all three of us actually, because we probably all three of us would be like, well, I haven't heard of it. Then let us know if you've got any recommendations at all. Then please do let us know, and maybe we could have a group review of some albums. That would be nice. So, yeah, exactly. So, okay, lovely stuff. Well, I think it's probably about that time now where we chill down a little bit. Maybe just sort of relax. The sun may be shining, but the sun is going down. And as the sun goes down, so do we. We deflate a little bit. We relax. We go all zen-like. Tracy's on the wine, so she's going to be slowly nodding off during the programme. You'll see that. She starts leaning a little bit, and then
it's that entertaining, just not the opposite. It does,
She'll be gone soon. So let's all go into our zen-like mode, and the whole of Maastricht comes to a grinding halt as we pause, relax, deep breath, because it is time for this
day in history.
Yeah, that was really calming, Matt. Really calming.
It's kind of like demonic, Matthew.
Yeah. I have to warn you, actually, there was an awful lot going on this day in history. An awful lot. However, because it's April the 1st, maybe some of these are not true. So I might just rattle through a few of them very quickly, because maybe actually it's all a load of rubbish, but we'll give it a go. I think the first one we're okay with. On this day, the 25th of March in 1748, the ruins of Pompeii are discovered.
Did you say 25th of March?
I did say 25th of March. I had no idea why I just said 25th of March. Where did that come from? I just said it's the 1st of April, and then I said 25th of March.
Matthew, maybe it's Joe who's leaning on the wine.
Water this evening, that's the problem. Oh my God.
It is the 1st of April, right?
It's an April Fool's Joe,
Gotcha.
right?
April Fools. Oh Lord. See, I'm not drinking wine. This is the problem. I'm drinking water, and I don't even know why I was thinking of the 25th of March. Okay, let's try that one again. It is the 1st of April, and on this day, in 1748, the ruins of Pompeii were discovered, which is quite a significant thing. Have you guys been to Pompeii?
Mm-mm.
I have been to Pompeii. It is lovely. Tracy, I have to tell you, you would absolutely love it, because from a photographer's perspective, it is stunning. You're very high up. The ruins are, there's quite a lot of them. There is a lot of ruins. I'm not a big ruins fan, to be honest with you. I find many times I go to ruins and I'm like, well, there's just a bunch of rocks. What? But they're quite statuesque ruins, shall I say. And we were there when the sun was going down and the sunset was bouncing off the rocks. Oh, beautiful. You would love it. So get yourself to Pompeii as and when you can.
Adding
Not
it to
this
the
week.
list of places to go.
Put it on there. You'll absolutely adore it. On this day in 1778, New Orleans businessman Oliver Pollock creates the dollar symbol.
Ooh.
It's quite a big thing.
And it is today.
It still is. It kind of stuck.
It's stuck, indeed. And also in other countries. Australian dollars, Singapore dollars, the list goes on.
In
I like
1820s, you're like, oh, okay, well, that's good. That's good. On the 1st of April in 1826, Samuel Murray is issued the first US patent for an internal combustion engine, and we're so very glad that he was. In 1891, on this very day, the London-Paris telephone connection was opened, and also that very same year, the Wrigley Company is founded in Chicago, Illinois. Now, Wrigley, of course, is famous for chewing gum. Are you chewers?
Not anymore. I used to chew a lot of gum actually, but not anymore. But I have had Wrigley Spearmint gum, really cute. There was all these tunes, and there was that advert where there was a girl on a bus traveling across America on a Greyhound, and she shares a Wrigley Spearmint gum with a cute guy next to her. I don't know, but off on a tangent. But no, these days I actually can't remember the last time I had a stick of gum.
When I was a kid, I used to have gum, but you always used to hear those horror stories. Don't swallow it. If you swallow it, it'll never come out of your system.
Yeah. Rubbish. Yeah, it'll stick you up.
It'll mash your gut together.
Yeah.
I know.
In 1900, on this very day, the first edition of the Touch newspaper, The People, was published. And in 1905, the SOS, Morse distress signal, was first adopted by the German government. In 1925, the first transmission of Danish state radio took place. And a few years later, on this day in 1934, Clyde Barrow, he kills 2 young highway patrolmen at the intersection of Route 114 near Grapevine, Texas. Bonnie Parker's role in the murders helps turn public perception against the gang for good. This, of course, was Bonnie and Clyde, and it was because of Bonnie that there was such a huge, big publicity about it, because she's a woman. And of course, up until then, they're saying, women don't do that kind of thing, which of course they did historically. There's quite a few women that did it, but there hadn't been much publicity until Bonnie was involved, and then that's it. It all took off. Next thing you know, there's a film, there's books written, all sorts going on. Yeah. In 1942, on this day, Mexico changes from 3 time zones to 2. And in 1954, on this very day, the first Dutch motorway, Amsterdam to Utrecht, was opened. In 1970, John Lennon and Yoko Ono release an April Fool's that they are having dual sex change operations.
Oh, goodness me.
Which, under the circumstances, with all the publicity around them at that time, I could imagine there was a lot of people who definitely believed it. And a few years later, in 1973, they did it again. John and Yoko form a new country with no laws or boundaries called Newtopia, and its national anthem is Silence.
Oh.
You're impressed, Tracy, I can tell.
I'm impressed. I guess it didn't take off.
I don't think it did. In 1976, Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs found the Apple computer in the garage of Jobs' parents' house in California. And in 1990, it became illegal in Salem, Oregon, to be within 2 feet of a nude dancer.
Oh, okay.
Well, is that true? We don't know. It's the 1st of April. I'm not so. I mean, maybe Salem, Oregon, there's a lot of nude dancers around. I really don't know. Maybe they're all...
So if they were just nude, it's fine. But if they're nude and dancing, then you have to be 2 feet away.
Good point, Matthew.
Stop dancing.
To be honest with you, there are certain people in the nude dancing I wouldn't want to be that close to either. But I'm just putting it out there.
Oh, yes.
In 2000...
Thanks for the nightmares, Joe.
In 2002, on this very day, the Netherlands legalises euthanasia, becoming the first nation in the world to do so. And in 2004, Google introduces Gmail. The launch is met with scepticism on account of the launch date. I don't know why people would find that suspicious. It's just email. I really don't know. This one was odd though. In 2013, on this day, the world's first smelling TV screen is unveiled in Japan.
Okay.
How does that work?
Is it like waft scent?
I mean, really?
I don't know. Yeah.
Or is it a scratch?
Watching, right? If you're watching something like with lots of horrible things, you don't really want to smell that. If it's like a cooking program, maybe that'd be nice.
There you go. Yeah. And finally, on this very day, 2017, Bob Dylan receives his Nobel Prize for Literature at a private ceremony in Stockholm. Right, looking at some birthdays. In 1578, on this very day, William Harvey, the English physician, was born. In 1776, Sophie Germain, the French mathematician, was born in Paris. In 1932, Debbie Reynolds, the American actress, famous for Singing in the Rain, she was born. 1946, Ronnie Lane, the English rock bassist, famous for Small Faces and Wings, was born in London. And finally, 1949, Gil Scott-Heron, the American poet, singer and pianist, was born in Chicago, Illinois. And we've got a few local birthdays going on. Caroline Linson, she will be having her birthday tomorrow. Anne says, happy birthday, Caroline. Have a lovely day. Eugenie Doutzenberg will also be having a birthday on the 3rd of April. Congratulations from Sabrina. And finally, on the 4th of April, Regan Ebsworth will be having his birthday. Mum, Dad and Spencer say happy birthday. Have a lovely, lovely day. And anybody else who's celebrating a birthday this week, have a wonderful day wherever you are. Hope you'll have a smashing celebration. And that was this day in history.
Well done, darling. Okay. Happy birthday to everybody.
Happy birthday to everybody. There's a lot going on.
Oh, I know.
There's a lot. I've actually cut a lot of things out. So 1st of April. The trouble is with the 1st of April, though, you just don't know whether it's real.
You missed out this one, Joe.
Well, no, I had it on the list, but I knew you were going to be talking about it.
There you go.
Did.
That's it, Matt.
Matt goes up because I thought he's going to be talking about it. We're not going to repeat ourselves on the Maastricht edition.
Oh, no, we never do that.
There's lots of other things we do that are very wrong. A lot.
Let's not go there.
So coming up in the rest of the programme, João is going to be joining us talking about playing guitar and teaching it and the healing power of music. We've got the update on Eurovision. Matt's going to be talking about the anniversary of same-sex marriage here in the Netherlands. Tracy's got her bunny, of course. There's so much more coming up in the show, but I think it's probably time for the news.
Yes, let's do the news and get our guest on.
Tracy Taylor with the news.
Thank you, Joe, and good evening, everyone. It's April 1st, and you're watching the Maastricht edition on Facebook Live. First, a look at your weekend weather, and although temperatures will be dropping over the coming days, it will still remain dry and bright with lots of sunny spells. Friday and Saturday will see highs of 12 degrees, and temperatures will reach 14 degrees on Easter Sunday. However, on Easter Monday, there is a chance of hail and possibly sleet. Moving to your news bulletin for tonight. As of yesterday, the first coronavirus self-tests are now available to buy at some pharmacies in the Netherlands. These do-it-yourself antigen tests are meant for preventative testing and give results in 15 minutes. The government hopes to have them available at all pharmacies, drugstores and supermarkets in the near future. It seems that 21% of blood donors in the Netherlands now have antibodies for the coronavirus in their blood. Antibodies indicate that the person either had the virus or was vaccinated against it. The provinces of Limburg and Noord-Brabant have the most blood donors with coronavirus antibodies at 26%. Queuing may become a permanent part of life in the Netherlands once the coronavirus pandemic is over, as it leads to a more efficient use of public space, reduced social tension, and less disease. Government sources have suggested that mandatory public queuing are likely to be a key measure discussed by the new coalition partners. The Eurovision Song Contest has been given permission to let 3,500 fans watch the show in person as part of the trial by the Dutch government. The annual musical extravaganza will be staged at Rotterdam's Ahoy Arena in May. All spectators and employees working at the event will have to present a negative coronavirus test before being allowed inside. And it seems that rice and pasta were the most hoarded items in the Netherlands at the start of the pandemic. Canned fish and tinned vegetables came in third and fourth, and toilet paper took fifth place. In other news, Germany's capital Berlin is set to impose a nighttime ban on gatherings from tomorrow to try and stop a third wave of the coronavirus. Given the good weather of late, Berliners have been flocking to public spaces to picnic and party, stoking concerns that the coronavirus may be spreading amongst younger people. And Italian authorities have approved a ban on cruise ships entering the historic centre of Venice. The country's culture minister said the decision came in response to a request from UNESCO. Large ships will now have to dock at the city's industrial port until a permanent solution is found. Critics argue the ships cause pollution and erode the foundations of the city, which suffers from regular flooding. And airplane food may not be everyone's idea of a fancy meal, but a service offering just that is selling like hotcakes in Japan. Japan's All Nippon Airways offer a dining experience on board a Boeing 777 parked at Haneda Airport in Tokyo. The restaurant with wings idea was conceived by employees who wanted to make better use of its parked aircraft. A first-class dining experience is about €450. And finally tonight, earlier this week, the world's first fish doorbell was unveiled in Utrecht. The bell is intended to help fish that are stuck in front of a closed lock gate at the Weertsluis to go through. This can be done through a special website the municipality has launched where people can follow the live stream and help open the gate by pressing a virtual doorbell. Every spring, thousands of fish swim through Utrecht in search of a place to lay eggs. And that's it for tonight. For more local news, you can follow RTV News in English on Facebook and Instagram. If you are a local business, be sure to check out the Support Your Local Business South Limburg Facebook page, a joint initiative between #Maastricht and the Maastricht Edition. And if you want to discover events, concerts, and cultural activities going on in Maastricht and the surrounding areas, head on over to the website of our partner, maastrichter.com, to check out their awesome calendar of events. And don't forget that you can always find us on the Maastricht Edition Facebook page, on our YouTube channel, on Redbubble, and on Instagram. For all the details, check out the maastrichtedition.nl.
Nicely done, Al Tracy.
Two questions, Tracy.
Oh, yeah.
Go for it.
The fish doorbell, is that an April Fool's? Because, like, how do fish go online and open the doorbell?
No, the fish don't go online. The human beings go online. Well, this was released, this story is from Monday, so it's very early if it's an April Fool's. I think it's really true. It was on Nossane and everything.
But how does it work? Like, people just randomly go on the website to see if there's a fish waiting to be let in.
I think that's how it is. There's some sort of webcam or something. They had a picture with a chap up there and he heard a noise and he opened the thing and the fish went in.
Well,
Yeah,
like one fish. So.
Fishes. Multiple fish. What was your second
This
question?
is very interesting. Okay, the second question is queuing in the Netherlands. I don't
Yes.
believe it. Sorry, I
I
just don't believe it.
When I was putting that piece together, I had you in my mind, actually, Matthew, because I know that's a bugbear of yours,
Several
queuing.
times I've been in a queue, right? One person in front of the other waiting for something, and somebody's come up to the side and asked me or someone else, "Is this a queue?" I'm like, "What else is it?" Like,
We're all
like a
just
crowd of
standing.
people just standing in a nice formation in front of a. Oh, drives me mad. Anyway.
Well, I tell you one thing, in my days of taking a train, which is now over a year ago, I wish they had the same setup that they have for the tube in London, where people line up. Better
Yeah,
still, the
no.
way they do things in Japan. I tell you, you take a train in Tokyo, now that's organization. True.
I'm still stuck on the fish with the doorbell. I think it's probably about time we got our guest on. So let's give him a bell and get him on. And let's see what maybe he can give us some ideas about fish and doorbells, because I'm completely confused about the whole thing. Here he is, João. Good evening. Welcome to the Maastricht Edition.
Hello.
Hello, thanks for having me here.
Oh, an absolute pleasure. In fact, I did notice you sent us a message earlier when we were talking about albums for Max Review.
Yeah.
And you're thinking about putting a suggestion through for a Brazilian album for him.
Yeah, I have one. There's one in my mind this week. Maybe you could check.
Okay.
Shall I write this for you, or because I don't think you're gonna get? I need to spell it.
I think let's get an email from you after the show, actually, and then you can put the suggestion in there. And I think maybe all three of us should probably review it, actually. So
I like this idea.
This is great. So anyway, yes, Brazil. Of course, there's a connection with you, João, because you are in fact Brazilian, and you're here to be talking to us about guitar lessons, guitar playing in general, the healing power of music, etc., etc. But before we get to all that, we need to find out how you, a Brazilian chap, ended up here in Maastricht.
Okay, the short version, right?
Okay.
Preferably.
Yeah. So after high school, I studied music in South Brazil. I'm from South Brazil.
Okay.
The capital is an island, beautiful island, Florianópolis. Go there if you have the chance. It's really a special place.
Put it on the list, Tracy.
I'm putting it on the list.
Yeah.
Carry on.
So I studied music education there at the university, and it's a more scientific approach, you know, and a lot of research, but also like teaching kids, you know, like we have I think they call it docent musique here for kids.
Yeah.
But I was still missing because I'm a guitarist, and I was missing like having an immersion on studying my instrument. And there in Florianópolis, there are some musicians who studied here in the Netherlands. So they said, if you want to study that is the place to go, because the schools here are really good. The conservatories, it's really high level. And before that, I also applied for some schools in the US, but it's ridiculously expensive. Wow, the tuition is not doable. And then so I moved to Rotterdam in October 2017. I moved to Rotterdam, and I did 1 year of codarts, the local conservatory.
Yeah.
Then after a year, the course was not really what I was looking for, and then I applied for the local school.
So from a cultural perspective then, how have you found the transition? Because obviously Brazil and the Netherlands, very different countries.
Yeah, I think it's you mean about music or in
Life
general?
generally, I would
Life
say.
in general.
Yeah.
I sometimes I miss the mood we have in Brazil. I think Latin America people are more open and spontaneous, and here there is, you know, people people are great here. I have great friends here, but it's more like a process, you know, of creating a friendship, a good friendship, and people take longer to open up, you know. I think foreigners notice this a lot about society here, but it's great.
Well, if there's one thing that does bring people together, it's music, of course.
True.
And as you said, you are a guitarist, and you are now, the reason we actually got you on the show, we found out that you actually teach guitar. And so we want to delve into that, because I was listening to you playing earlier, and you are going to play for us this evening on the show, but you were playing what sounded to me like traditional Brazilian music. Is this what you're actually teaching to people, or are we going just for the basic fundamentals of how to play a guitar and then branching out to whatever genre you fancy from there?
Yeah, exactly. I can teach Brazilian music, but not only. It's most of the time I teach beginners, and yeah, I try to respect my students' choices and tastes.
Yeah.
And it's most of the time it's beginners, and I think it's not when we are like at the place I am in right now at the conservatory, we make this immersion and try to play really difficult things. But you know, for common people who are not professional musicians, they just want to have a good time with music,
Yeah,
you know, and
that's true.
that's what I offered, what I try to help them with in their lesson.
I think with this past year, especially, music is something that many of us have reached for as a comfort to get us through the last year. From a mental health perspective, I think we're probably listening to music even more so.
Yeah, I think there are. I read it somewhere that there are more people searching for music lessons since the beginning of the pandemic.
Absolutely. I must say, I'm a music student myself, but I'm actually learning piano, so a completely different style of instrument. And my teacher is also at the conservatorium in Maastricht, Helena Bivar. I'm not sure if you guys know each other, but I must admit that in the last year with COVID, I've also been much more motivated and also had more time and wanted to make more time to actually devote to the study of the music and learning everything. I guess this is only a good thing. And I know, João, you also talk a little bit about how important the power of healing of music is to you as well. So it's all sort of coming together quite nicely, really.
Yeah, definitely. I think in the last few years, I started understanding more and more what my connection with music is about. Because I think for a while I tried to deny this. No, because I studied education, and then I just but I want to be a guitarist, and in the last few years I realized, oh, wait a minute, I kind of like this. I kind of like sharing, and then it's also part of a very personal journey on self-awareness and trying to understand, you know, my purpose in life in general. And then I noticed when you go through this and you look at yourself, you start being more empathetic to other people's feelings, you know. And look, I don't intend to be a therapist or anything. Like, if you think you need a therapist, go to a therapist. Don't go to a music teacher. Yeah. But I do think things are connected, and this is very, very clear when I give a lesson. For instance, if a student is shy, then you have to deal with this in the lesson. And this is not it's not about music anymore. You know, it's about human relationships. Or if there is a student that has a very low self-esteem, then from the point he grabs the guitar, he starts saying, yeah, I cannot do this. No, it's too difficult. I can't. Then as a teacher, as an educator, you have to believe in their potential more than they believe themselves, you know. And I'm so obsessed by this process. You know, it's good to be able to help others in going through this process.
Well, there's something about creating, isn't there? When we produce something, create something, it brings out something inside us that we're very proud of ourselves. For one thing, oh my goodness, look what I've done! I've made this. I've created this, and it is that connection that maybe we didn't realise that we had this creativity inside us, and then all of a sudden we're producing something, and actually, it sounds rather good. I can do this. I mean, it is going to change the way you look at things for sure. But I feel at the moment we probably need a little bit of healing music. So I think it's time we probably should ask you, João, to pick up your guitar and play something for us. What is it you're going to play?
This is an old samba. It's called I think it's from the 30s, from the radio era. It's called Palhaçada. I don't know how to translate this. It's about a man talking in a very funny way of how he was fooled by a woman, and that he's like he feels like a clown, that he was, you know, he's describing himself as a clown.
Okay.
But in a very funny way.
Okay, cheery song then. Take it João.
Okay. Cara de palhaço, pinta de palhaço, roupa de palhaço. Foi esse o meu amargo fim. Cara de palhaço, pinta de palhaço, roupa de palhaço. Foi o que eu arranjei pra mim. Estavas roxa, por um trouxa pra fazer cartaz. Na tua lista de golpista, nenhum boba mais. Quando a chanchada deu em nada, eu até gostei. E a fantasia foi aquela que esperei. Cara de palhaço, pinta de palhaço, roupa de palhaço. Pela mulher que não me quer. Mas se ela quiser voltar pra mim, vai ser assim. Cara de palhaço, pinta de palhaço, até o fim. Cara de palhaço, pinta de palhaço, roupa de palhaço. Foi esse o meu amargo fim. Cara de palhaço, pinta de palhaço, roupa de palhaço. Foi o que eu arranjei pra mim. Estavas roxa, por um trouxa pra fazer cartaz. Na tua lista de golpista tem um boba a mais. Quando a chanchada deu em nada, eu até gostei. E a fantasia foi aquela que esperei. Cara de palhaço, pinta de palhaço, roupa de palhaço. Pela mulher que não me quer. Mas se ela quiser voltar pra mim, vai ser assim. Cara de palhaço, pinta de palhaço, até o fim. Cara de palhaço, pinta de palhaço, até o fim. Cara de palhaço, pinta de palhaço.
Yay! Oh, fantastic.
Thank you,
That's
thank you.
brilliant. Thank you for that, João. Lovely stuff. Oh, that just gets you in the mood, doesn't it? Really does.
I was transported. I was imagining myself in some quiet little town somewhere where it's coming down to sunset. There's trees above me, a little leafy corner, and there was João playing guitar while I'm enjoying dinner and wine. That's where I was.
Are we there as well?
No, I'm on my own. Of course you are. We're all there together.
Oh, fantastic.
Nice.
Oh, now that's absolutely lovely. Thank you so much for that. So, if people actually want to learn how to play like that, João, how do they get hold of you?
So yeah, you can reach me. I'm very active on social media. So both Facebook and Instagram is joaoneves.music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think at joaoneves.music, right? And there you can find my email, my phone number. You can find me easily there.
Excellent stuff. Well, we shall get all of your socials all over our socials at the end of the show. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on here. Thank you so much for coming to see us this evening, and thank you for singing and playing for us. It's an absolute treat.
So
And
nice.
yeah,
It's so nice to have music on the show for a change,
Yes.
you know?
it is.
Yeah, really. Truly.
We're really missing live music. We can't wait till we get out there. But this was an absolute treat for us, Ral. So thank you very much for that. Good luck with all the guitar lessons, and please do come and see us again soon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Take care now.
Obrigada.
Bye.
Obrigado. Ciao.
My Portuguese piano teacher would be so proud. It's about the only Portuguese word I know.
Wasn't that lovely?
Getting holiday vibes now.
I know,
By the
honestly,
seaside.
Precisely. I was really transported, and he delivers. You can see in his face when he sings that the vibe is there. It makes you smile.
It does.
So, more
Yes.
of that, please. Let's
Yeah.
have you on every week. Okay, new thing. Every week we should have some live music on the show.
We should.
musicians, if you're out there and you want to use the platform, reach out and let us know.
Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
Oh, I just want a cocktail now.
I'm going to have wine.
Good plan. Okay, well, my goodness, look at the time. It's whizzing past us, but I think, Matt, it's time for you to go Dutch, and I believe we've already touched on what you're going to be talking about this evening.
I'm going to quickly do half and half because I also have something else.
Oh,
But
Woo!
here's my flag. I have this flag because 20 years ago today, I'm a bit concerned it was on April 1st, actually. It makes it sound like it was a joke, but it was real. 20 years ago today, the Netherlands was the first country in the world to introduce same-sex marriage or same-sex partnership. So that was a world first. They were at the forefront of LGBTQ rights. And on that day, I think the mayor of Amsterdam married 3 couples. I think there was two male couples and 1 female couple.
Right.
I'm not sure that's the right way to say it. 2 male same-sex couples and 1 female same-sex couple were married by the mayor, and they were the first people. And since then, over 40,000 couples have been married. So it's roughly half-half between couples who are 2 men and couples who are 2 women. And still today, you can still get married, of course, and there's also other rights. And lots of people now are sort of moving away from the idea of marriage more towards partnership, but it's still a really important step. And the Netherlands, of course, was really forward-thinking at the time. But today I've been reading a lot about this, and lots of people are saying, well, yes, great. 20 years ago, the Netherlands was at the forefront of LGBTQ rights. We were doing the really good things. But sadly now, sort of, we're lagging behind a bit. We're no longer in the top 10 countries doing the most for LGBTQ rights. And there's lots of things we can do to improve, such as protections for LGBTQ people within the law. So sort of protection against discrimination, for example, which is not actually specifically for LGBTQ discrimination. It's more like general discrimination. And there's also lots of rights missing for the trans community, as we spoke about in February. So there's still a lot of room for improvement, but there is still, of course, a lot to celebrate. We should always keep our eyes open to what is actually going on in the world and not be too nostalgic about these things. There's always something that needs to be done.
For sure.
But, so, also, of course, today is April Fool's Day. So I had a quick look about what happens on April Fool's Day in the Netherlands. Turns out it's exactly the same as everywhere else. But I found a few fun ones that happened today and yesterday. So these are some of my favourite ones. So, you know what the Dutch people love to have a gourmet, which is that hot grill plate where you fry a lot of little raw meats and vegetables and stuff. People often have it at Easter as well. But Princess, the brand that makes them, today said that they were going to release one with an inbuilt extractor fan.
Oh.
So, and I was like, that is a great idea. Why is that an April Fool's joke? Because if you've ever had a gourmet, you'll know
this smoke.
Yes.
It stinks and it's horrible. So actually, that's a fantastic idea, and I don't know why it's a joke, because they should do that. The other one was underwater cars are being released by the company Carver, so that you can travel underwater. That would be great.
That would be quite cool.
Sadly, that's not true. And Tiki, do you know what Tiki is, the app?
Yes.
So I think it's become a very like stereotypical Dutch thing to send someone a Tiki. If you owe them money, you can split the bill, etc. But today, Tiki announced that they were going to introduce a carrier pigeon option for those people who never answer their Tiki requests, so that you can send them a physical reminder as a pigeon. Another great idea, something they should definitely do.
Yeah, no, I think that,
And the other one was Easy Toys, which is one of the biggest Dutch sex toy companies, launched today their home delivery service. So they've created 200 bright pink vans with a massive dildo on top that'll come and drop your toys off right outside the door, so the neighbours can know you're having a good time. So yes, but they don't really. They normally do it quite. I think the message is discreetly. That's the word. But yeah, so that was the joke there. And the last one was that Lowlander Beer have introduced a new Tom Poos flavoured beer.
Oh
no,
that's not a good idea. Love a Tom Poos, love beer, but together, no.
So yeah, that was a roundup of them. There's quite a lot of others. Oh, and the other one was that New York Pizza has released a pepperoni pizza flavored soup, which you can enjoy today.
Well, what was that? And the Tom Poos beer? I feel a bit queasy now. Actually, that's just.
I tell you,
nasty.
I know.
That's just
Oh
nasty.
God, it's a good thing the show is almost over.
Well, thank you for that, Max. It started off so well. So before we get to Tracy's Titty Bitties, I just wanted to also touch on what Tracy mentioned in the news about Eurovision. It is going to be going ahead this year. You may have read in the news recently, there has been these field lab events that have been going on around the country where they're testing people before going to an event. It would be a crowded event like a concert, for example, and seeing what happens when everybody has actually been tested and their results are negative, and then bringing them all together in a group. It's been a select group, only Dutch people. This is what's going to happen also for Eurovision. It will be a field lab event. 3,500 Dutch people will be the spectators. There's going to be 9 shows, 2 semi-finals, the grand final, and 6 rehearsal shows. So it's only Dutch people, obviously because of the travel restrictions that are going on. And it will be on telly, of course, so you will be able to watch it from the comfort of your sofa. But yeah, they wanted to get a live audience in, so it is actually going to happen, which is fantastic news. Hopefully, at the end of this is also research as well. So hopefully at the end of this is going to be a lot of positivity that comes out of this. And if all these field lab events actually work as they hope they will, then this could be how events will be in the future when it comes to things like festivals, for example, that you will have X amount of people, everybody has to test negative, and then we can go ahead with the bigger events. So fingers crossed this is going to work. There have been some others that have been quite successful. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But good for Eurovision. Hurrah!
Hurrah! I'm curious if Ireland are going to make the final. We'll see.
Yeah, we shall see, yes. So, before we disappear, Titty Bitties from Tracy. What have we got?
Yes, well, as we all know, it's Easter this weekend. So many of us have Monday off work. So that's good. The weather isn't going to be as hot as it has been the last couple of days, but it is going to be dry and bright. So many people are going to be getting out and about. So keep in mind your social distancing and all of the rest of it. And if you are in the mood to order in a lunch or brunch or something over the Easter, think of your local businesses and give them some support. There's a lot of places out there who have special pass menus available, which are maybe nice to consider. For the rest, we had just one. Joe, I think you might know a little bit about this one as well. There is a very lovely chap called Paul Simmons, who's quite a good friend of the show, and he's the chairperson of the Klassiek Zomerparkstad Foundation, and he is organising a musical program called Klassiek in Beeld, or I suppose classical music, in picture in focus, and that's going to be available via live stream, which is of course the trend these days, as of towards the end of May. So they are actually busy doing a sort of pilot for this initiative, and if it goes well, they're going to be trying to bring more and more classical musical programs to people who can watch from home. And we know from people like, for example, Michelle Powell, former guest on the show, who's done some online concerts, that this is actually quite a popular medium, and it is actually gaining traction. I think a lot of people do enjoy this option. But Paul is busy trying to arrange some crowdfunding to help support this initiative. Now, we do have some information, a kind of a bank account that you can contribute to and everything else, but we'll do the post in our post-show post after the show. It's a little bit easier than my spelling out numbers and letters for everybody here. But it's nice to know that there are people out there who are trying to do something for the arts a little bit and give a platform for artists, musicians and so on, who can still perform a little bit, even in a rather perhaps unusual way, but at least it's nice to know that this type of initiative is out there.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Live music. Yay!
Hurrah! And you saw from this evening, from Joao's little segment, it's amazing how a little live music, it truly lifts your spirit,
it does.
Right?
It does.
It's amazing. So it's nice. And if it's online, so be it for the time being. But it's nice to be able to at least have that option while we're waiting for more normal things to resume.
Very true. Very true. Well, we've got through the 1st of April unscathed.
Yay! Hurrah!
We did well. Hurrah. Thank you very, very much for joining us this evening. A big thank you to João Neves, who was in the house with us playing guitar, and we were getting on down to those sexy Latin rhythms. Oh, it was absolutely divine. It's been an absolute pleasure having you all with us again this evening. We shall be back again next Thursday.
Yeah.
Have a lovely Easter. Have a wonderful weekend. Whatever it is that you're doing, do it safely, and we shall see you again next Thursday. Thanks ever so much. Bye for now. Bye.